Visit ESSYes.com today and enjoy the run to a national title.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Colin to the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Welcome on in, everybody. It is a Friday edition. Happy Friday, the 16th of January, 2026. We got Damian Perez behind the glass today. We don't have Mike Rizzo today, but we have you for the next 2 hours, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X, YouTube at ESPN South Florida, and Facebook and Twitter at ESPN West Palm. Catch us there as we got a packed program ahead. 2 hours. Going to have a lot to talk about. Miami perhaps making a last-second heave for a portal transfer quarterback, a guy who's probably going to be a first-round pick next year in Darian Mensah. We'll get into that. We got a packed divisional preview with the games all throughout the weekend. We have the national championship on Monday. There's so much to look forward to if you're a sports fan in South Florida, and there's a lot to talk about. On top of that, there's also some things in the baseball community that have taken the world by storm, including Kyle Tucker, the star outfielder formerly on the Chicago Cubs and the Houston Astros, signing with, you guessed it, the Los Angeles Dodgers for $60 million a year. We'll get into that. We'll get into the packed divisional slate. Should be a lot of fun. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo. Damian Perez at the Stage Play Studios. How are you doing today, my friend? What is going on?
Going on? Good afternoon. Big day, big Friday, exciting weekend coming up. We got the national championship on Monday, so a lot to look forward to, and the weather. I know you're from up north, but
you like when it's
cold.
colder?
I love it. I love it. We only get it for 3 weeks out of the year, so really enjoy it when it's cold. But I gotta say,
agree. It was 41 degrees
freezing.
this morning.
It was freezing this morning. I'm like, even last night, I was like, oh my God, what is this?
So I swim in the mornings on Thursdays, and the Thursday we were at the pool, me and all the elderly community that I swim with on my swim team, and the person who organizes the swim comes up and says, hey, by the way, it's a heated pool. It's still outdoors. The coldest I've ever done it is probably 54 and raining, 55 and raining, which is cold for
cold.
South Florida standards. But that was probably the coldest I've ever done. That was brutal.
It was the wind, too, because It was pretty windy yesterday.
That was the coldest I've ever had to do it. But they said tomorrow morning is going to be in the 40s, in the low 40s. Don't come to the pool. And I've never heard them say that before. That was unless it's lightning, they rain or shine it as best you could believe it.
How you know.
And they said it is too cold to be swimming. So I knew that's when I knew that there was a big cold front coming back, because the rest of the United States is really getting pounded with snowstorms.
I mean, Chicago is unbelievable. Can't believe they're hosting a playoff game.
Which will be awesome, by the way. I think that equalizes the game a little bit with Chicago and the Bears. Chicago Bears against the Los Angeles Rams. That'll be on Sunday Night Football. We'll get into that game. We'll get into what to expect tomorrow. Bills-Broncos is one of the Saturday slate games that we have that's really going to open up our weekend, with Josh Allen going on the road and taking on a one-seeded post-bye Denver Bronco team. Denver Broncos, who, by the way, despite being 14-3, there have been a number of games that they have essentially escaped throughout the year. They escaped the Packer game, come back from behind. They escaped the Chief game on Christmas Day. Chiefs were competitive for the most part. That Commander game in Washington a couple weeks ago, the last Sunday of November in OT, when they won 27-26. That first Chief game when Mahomes was still playing in Mile High was a game they barely escaped. That godforsaken Thursday Night Football game against the Raiders, the Broncos barely escaped. That was a 10-7 ball game. Texan game was back and forth, a defensive-minded battle that the Broncos were able to kind of come out from behind. And that Giant game where they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. That right there, I just named about 6 wins where they escaped by the skin of their teeth in that game. And this is a team that got unlucky 2 of the first 3 weeks of the year. It's been a team characterized by luck. And I think this is an interesting divisional round this weekend, Damian, because I'd make the argument, because there's only 2 total teams that get buys, I would say the 2 teams that are getting buys this weekend, I know it's advantageous to have games at home and have the extra week off. I'd make the argument, if I were to put a 1 through 8 number on it, neither of those two one-seeded teams in Seattle and Denver are, I won't say they're not threats, but they're not the juggernauts of either side of their conference. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, and it's also worth questioning. I do agree, by the way, and it's worth questioning if that bye will actually be advantageous for them after having to sit out an entire week. I know it's the NFL. It's a very physical league where players are trying to always get healthy, but sometimes a break can kind of like knock you off your mojo in a sense.
Come out flat. It's totally, that happens. It happens a lot in the college age. You got to think NFL teams are more suited to combat it.
Unless you're Indiana.
But I do agree with you. And also a weird thing that came out yesterday with Adam Schefter was that Sam Darnold had an oblique injury pop up.
Unbelievable. After a bye, coming off a bye, to hear that a player is questionable and it's your starting quarterback.
And Darnold said he's going to play, but Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, basically declined to comment. So nobody really knows the extent of this injury. But what we do know is, in my opinion, in that specific game, which will be on Saturday night between the Niners and the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle's got despite being home past by, they have all the pressure in the world to win that game. And that might be the only team where you could really sit there and think they could win every game remaining on their schedule, including throughout the postseason, or they could lose this weekend. It is very possible for them to lose just as much as it is to win. It's a true coin flip team every single time you go out there. And I think the big Achilles heel of that game, of that matchup, is if you go head to head, well, Seattle's got a better defense than San Francisco. Well, Seattle's offensive line is healthier than San Francisco's right now. Well, Seattle's got more offensive players than San Francisco does right now, especially post-injury. But you circle back to Seattle's got a great coach in Mike McDonald. But then you circle back to, well, what type of Sam Darnold are we going to get? What type of Sam Darnold is going to show up and play against the 49ers? He is the ultimate, if there is a weekend-long X factor, it is Sam Darnold. The most volatile team of the entire playoffs is completely reliant on if Sam Darnold can show up or not. I'm willing to go to those lengths.
And you talk about Seattle having pressure. I think the 49ers on the other side is the completely opposite spectrum.
House money.
All the injuries they've had. Their number one wide receiver hasn't played a game the entire season. Like I said, all the injuries, that's the biggest factor. The injuries
George Kittle just went down, yeah.
Their defense. So you got a team who has all the pressure in the world, not just the team, the quarterback as well, playing against a team in the 49ers that are playing with absolute house money. That can be what's dangerous for the Seattle Seahawks.
Damien, are you under the impression, that any of the 8 teams remaining in terms of Texans, Patriots, Bills, Broncos, Bears, Rams, Seattle Seahawks, and then the 49ers, are you under the impression that all 4 can win a title?
Yeah, I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite.
You are under the impression.
I think every team has a case to win it all this year.
Wow. At this point, you would say.
Yeah, at this point.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. Here's the thing. The team that makes me nervous, I know everybody's high on them because of that defense, Houston. I don't think Houston can do it.
But they have the best defense out of the teams remaining.
They probably have the best. They have the best unit. Even comparatively to defense, if you want to compare defenses to offenses in terms of dominance, they have the best unit. They're just at such a disadvantage, in my opinion, because of Stroud. I know they won 10 games in a row. It's hard to judge them. I don't even think they get out of this weekend.
And Nico Collins looks to be out with a concussion this weekend.
Their star wide receiver will not be playing. He did not practice all week. I believe they already ruled him out. We'll double check that. But here's the thing about the Texans. Am I trusting them, even though they got such a great defense? Am I trusting them, by the way, in DeMeco Ryans' tenure and C.J. Stroud's tenure as a Houston Texan quarterback? They've won the first round of the postseason all 3 times. They've lost the second round of the postseason every single time as well. So they are 3-3, or now I guess 4-3 because of the extra win that they had last week. So I don't know if this is a situation in which Houston is able to get out of this. I just do not trust not only Stroud, I don't trust that offense at all. Like they, yes, ran it up on a Pittsburgh team that was reeling and hurt, old, and just frankly outmatched.
It really comes down to the defense with the Texans.
You think the defense can do enough to, I guess, keep the game away from their offense?
I mean, they are playing a New England Patriots who are coached by Vrabel.
And they can score. They weren't great against the Chargers in terms of scoring, but they could score.
I mean,
you're that confident in that defense. Here's the thing. At a certain point,
don't get me wrong. I think the New England Patriots win that game, though.
Oh, you do?
But I still think with that defense, you can always make a case for the Houston Texans winning.
Yeah. Here's the thing. At a certain point, we're going to have to give the ball to C.J. Stroud, 20-17. Fourth quarter, or how about this? 20-16, and you need a touchdown to win it. And he needs to go right down the field and do something.
It's a very similar situation to Seattle. It really comes down to the quarterback.
Right. And I don't trust Darnold. I mean, in a lot of ways, you should trust C.J. Stroud more than you should trust Darnold. But Darnold's had so much regular season success. C.J. Stroud hasn't. But Stroud's been a little bit more of a proven commodity in the postseason.
And less weapons.
In terms of winning games. The one thing about Darnold is I saw enough in that Ram game on Thursday Night Football, which essentially got them the first seed in the entire NFC. That game in San Francisco game, the last game of the year. I was under the impression that seeing that fourth quarter and overtime drive by Sam Darnold, I think that does enough for me to trust him in some capacity. But if the Texans are down 4 fourth quarter and need C.J. Stroud to take him 75 yards and score a touchdown, I am not confident that he could do that. He was a mess against the Steelers. And the Steelers just couldn't capitalize because of that great defense. But there's going to be a game or two where that Texan defense is caught. Unless they're holding teams to under 16 for the entire postseason or under 20 for the entire postseason, which I guess is possible because they're so dominant and they're just talent all over the field. And there probably should be 4 or 5 all-pros on it. I just don't trust Stroud. I don't trust that offense. I don't. They don't run the ball well enough for me. They don't have enough pass catchers well enough for me. Their offensive line is not good enough. And C.J. Stroud, he panics. So I actually like the Patriots in that spot. That's the early slate on Sunday. The Patriots is an interesting one, Damian, because they've only beaten one team with a winning record outside of the Chargers in that divisional round. But in the regular season, they only beat one team with a winning record, and that was the Buffalo Bills, and they split. This has not been a team that has been postseason coded in terms of the talent that they've played throughout the year, but they're home. It looks like that's going to be a snow game as well. I wonder if that favors the defense on Houston's side. But the Patriots to you are no fluke, because if there's a team that we could walk away with on Sunday evening and say, boy, which team of the weekend was really the fluke, I would make the argument that the Patriots would be near the top of that list.
Wow. So, I mean, it sounds like you kind of have somewhat of a confidence in Houston.
I have a lack of confidence in the Patriots, but I do not like Houston either. I think either of those two teams, we did 1 through 8 the other day with Christian Cat and I yesterday on the teams most likely to win the Super Bowl. My 8 and 7 were the Texans and the Patriots.
Wow, interesting. See, I have the Patriots a bit higher. I think I'm a bit higher on the Patriots. I think Drake May has had an unbelievable season, and they have
no doubt
everything everywhere you look at. I mean, running back, they have great running backs in Ramondre Stevenson and the rookie Trayvon Henderson. At wide receiver, you got a veteran in Diggs who's still very, very serviceable, and a bunch of other receivers who get the job done. Sometimes it's Booty, sometimes it's Kyle Williams. And then you also have a great defense. The Patriots we talk about Houston Texans having a good defense. I think the Patriots, they're coached by Vrabel, who's a defensive-minded coach, and they still have a great defense. That's going to be a low-scoring game, I think.
The over-under is about 40 and a half, 41, depends where you look. So, yeah, the books are seeing that as
40 and a half.
As a low-scoring game, low-scoring affair as well. That's the game to me where that is a sign-up for an opportunity to lose to one of Denver or Buffalo. Sign up for an opportunity for that. But that would be my perspective on that Patriot game. And I think a lot of it relies on if C.J. Stroud plays well, that team is going to be really dangerous really fast. But he hasn't played great, like otherworldly great all year. And I don't know if I'm willing to kind of put out skin in the game that I think it's going to start now on a true road game, a tough environment against a team that had a good playoff win, get the playoff jitters out. I know they're inexperienced. I don't like Houston there. And I know their defense might prove me wrong. Maybe I walk in on Monday's show, pre-national championship on MLK Day, and say, boy, I was wrong about Houston. I should respect my division rivals a little bit more. But that Pittsburgh win was a lot about that Houston defense and Pittsburgh not belonging. That's my perspective on it. Maybe that's the definition of not respecting your opponent. Damian, which game of the weekend? I'll include the national championship because it's on a holiday weekend. You got 4 games on the divisional round. You got Denver You got the Niner game, then you have the Patriots, and then you finish off with Rams-Bears. Then you get the national championship. Which one are you most looking forward to?
That's a very tough question when you throw in the national championship game. But I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears versus the Rams game. I'm very excited for that game.
I think I agree. I think that's the best game of the weekend. I think that's the one I'm most looking forward to. And I'm also looking forward to the San Francisco game. I think both the NFC games are very interesting to me, which is why that will be really fun in both the night slates. 8 p.m. on Fox on Saturday night, and then 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. I think both those games are going to be really good and really competitive. And I think out of all those 4 teams, I don't know if I'm completely there yet with Chicago because I don't love the coach.
I've bought in. I honestly have bought in.
No.
You're not there yet?
That was a Packer-blown game. I
just think when it came down to Caleb Williams needing to have a moment.
4th and 8, down 11 with 5 minutes to go.
That's what you need. That's what you need in these games. That's what makes the difference. And I think if Caleb Williams could keep that up, that could be the difference for Chicago.
The one thing I like about Chicago is there's a very good chance, a possible chance that they get 2 more home games on the way to a Super Bowl, if they could get to it, right? Because if San Francisco wins, Chicago gets another home game. But if San Francisco loses and Seattle moves on, then the Chicago Bears would have to go on the road. If they for some reason play 3 home games,
they do benefit from being a home.
They would benefit of that. So they're rooting for that 1 seed, which is a beatable 1 seed in Seattle, to lose that game. I don't know if I'm there. You know why? Because I hated how Chicago handled that first half against Green Bay. I hated that. When they fell down 21-3, Ben Johnson's going for it on 4th and 4 at his own 34-yard line. He's going for it at his own 42-yard line. It was too much gambling.
They had every reason to lose that game.
It was very Dan Campbell. And that first time we saw Dan Campbell in a big postseason spot, he blew a lead
that's the difference
against San Francisco.
That's the difference, Colin. Dan Campbell had Jared Goff, who's a good quarterback, but he's not great. I really think Caleb Williams could be great.
Can be great. He's not great yet. He's erratic, but he makes great plays.
Up to now, he met the moment.
Yeah, he makes great plays. I like Caleb too. I walked away from last week's game more impressed with Caleb than I was with Johnson. Because Johnson's sitting there with his play call sheet, and Matt LaFleur is trying not to blow a game for the 1100th time in his tenure as a Packer head coach. And he's sitting there going for it on 4th down, telling his defense, we don't trust you, and it's the second quarter. And his defense shut down the Packer offense the entire second half. That's why it just didn't sit well. It didn't sit well with me how the Bears handled that. But watch them prove me wrong. 30-mile-an-hour winds, 5-10 degrees with wind chill. That equalizes it in favor of Chicago. I don't care if the Rams have Matthew Stafford, who formerly played in the NFC North about 9 years ago. This is going to be a very difficult game for the Rams if the weather is as bad as it says it's going to be. We'll get into the rest of the divisional round. We've got a lot to talk about. That's Damian Perez, Colin Russo. It is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We also got a national championship on Monday. College football fans, get ready because the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour, it's coming to City Place in West Palm Beach before it heads down to Miami. Take a listen and join in on Saturday night, January 17th. That's going to be tomorrow night from 4 to 8 p.m. You can catch live ESPN radio shows from City Place. And you could also see the Airstream where myself and Theo Dorsey will be doing a live show from 5 to 7 p.m. You can play the Robin Hood football toss. You can play a bunch of games and activations that ESPN Radio will have available there. Bring your friends, rep your school, be part of the action as ESPN Radio takes over City Place. Join us for nonstop college football fun, the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour, Saturday, January 17th, 4 to 8 p.m. at City Place, West Palm Beach. We'll also be doing a show on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida from 5 to 7 p.m., so don't miss that. That's Damian Perez, Colin Russo. It's Russo and Rizzo taking time out here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Funnel cake. Rise. Farm animal.
Wake up, South Florida Fair.
Don't tell me what's fair. What? The South Florida Fair is open? Why didn't you say so sooner? Use the free park and ride from the mall at Wellington Green and Palm Beach Central High School and avoid traffic. Visit southfloridafair.com for details or download the Fair app. Open now through February 1st in West Palm Beach.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 27 national championships, including their 3rd championship in women's soccer. Visit KUCHawks.com for the latest on the championship athletic programs at Kaiser University. Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
The PGA Tour is back in Palm Beach. The Cognizant Classic returns February 25th through March 1st to the Champion Course at PGA National Resort and Spa. Be here to watch PGA Tour players take on the Bear Trap, one of the toughest stretches in golf, while enjoying elevated fan activities around every corner. Experience the energy with your friends and take in the excitement of this can't-miss event. Tickets are on sale now at thecognizantclassic.com.
College football fans, it's time. The ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour is rolling into City Place, West Palm Beach. Join us Saturday night, January 17th from 4 to 8 for live ESPN radio shows. We'll have awesome giveaways. You can try your shot at our Serve Pro Rapid Response Reflex game, a Robin Hood football toss, and maybe even grab a free Monster Energy drink. Bring your friends, rep your school, and be part of the action as ESPN Radio takes over City Place. Saturday, January 17th from 4 to 8 at City Place, West Palm Beach.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Let's say if you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, you got to listen up because my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they are the type that like to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back. You know how Glenn Levine had my back once? I was training for a triathlon. I needed a bike bag. It was very expensive, very hard to find. Glenn Levine, I call him up. He says, use mine. I'm all right. Used his for both my Ironmans this past year. And that's the type of friend and type of person that has your back like Glenn Levine and Mark Anajar do. They don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get the maximum compensation that you deserve. They are the top of the line in the area. They're the best in the business for a reason. Don't demand just anybody. Demand the best. Go get Anajar and Levine. Take that one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call the free consultation today. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. All right, another game we haven't talked about fully yet. Bills-Broncos. Now, Damian, I desperately want Buffalo to lose this game. Why? Because I was at Buffalo's Jags, and I'm a Jags fan. And if I have to listen to the, hey, wait, and listen to the, let's go Buffalo.
They got you, huh?
For the 1100th time. Listen, I'm okay. Good fans, great people. I hope you lose. And that's the game I'm rooting for, a Buffalo loss. But unfortunately, I do think that'll be a Buffalo win. A couple stats for you. Bo Nix is 1-7 against playoff teams in his whole career that score more than 17 points. So there's a number in mind for Buffalo that you just got to get into the 20s, and then it makes it difficult. But what's your read on what we're going to see at Mile High? First game on Saturday, Bills-Broncos.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the Broncos, everything should tell you that the Broncos are winning this game. They had the bye week. They're at home. For the most part, they're relatively healthy. And everything tells you that the Bills should lose this game. A lot of they're all basically 80% of the receiver room is hurt. Not a lot of weapons on offense as is. So everything tells you that the Bills will lose this game, but I'm right there with you. Something tells me the Bills will be able to pull it off because at the end of the day, they do have Josh Allen.
Yeah, the thing about the Buffalo is we thought they were depleted in the wide receiver department last week. Well, two of the guys who got reps at wide receiver are now on injury reserve. Gabe Davis is done for the year, and Tyrell Shavers on injury reserve as well. Both those guys had catches against the Jags. So they're just so depleted at that position. And they have tight ends. They have James Cook. They have Josh Allen. I wonder if too much is just going to be too much in terms of replacing production. But I mean, I'm back and forth on it. Bills have been fairly not bad on the road, and the Broncos have been excellent at home. But there's something about these one seeds this year that I think they're both very beatable. They're very beatable in my mind. Why? Because I think I'm just leading into the inexperience. And I know that's weird because Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning head coach, but the inexperience around the rest of the team, especially offensively, when they've relied on so much magic to get to the point that they're at now, that can fuse out. There's two teams that play a little bit like how the Commanders played last year, where the Commanders had a number of games where, wow, like exciting finish. They're lucky to escape that game. They had a number of games like that. And I would say that Denver and Chicago are both like that this year. Some team just has everything roll their direction, have every call go their way, have every jump ball 50-50 go their way as well. That's just been Denver and Chicago all year long. I don't know how much I trust that to be sustained success. I don't. And also, I don't know if it's time for me to buy into it's Josh Allen's year. Do you believe in that? Quarterback with just one position on the field being, you know what? I think it's his year.
The only reason why that's kind of a narrative is because you don't have any of the other quote unquote greats, but you do have emerging quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, even Bo Nix in Denver. You have quarterbacks that have been playing at that level. So, I mean, I don't know if I buy into that completely, but it is something to be said.
You know, Super Bowl is in a lot of ways, at least the top of the line is a Super Bowl. It's an accolade tracked position in terms of how many Super Bowls have you won? How many Super Bowls have you been to? How many AFC championship games have you been to? What's your playoff record? Team stats that you normally just consider as from a head coach perspective is also a quarterback statistic, for better or worse. But there's a reason why Brady's the best and not Rodgers. Because Rodgers could have been a little bit more impressive throwing the football, but Brady won every big game that he ever played. So I don't know if I trust Buffalo in a spot where they have all the pressure on them, because they've had a lot of pressure before and they've crumbled. But if there is a time and a place, it's now. Because next year, guys are going to be healthy, teams are going to be a little sharper, and you're not going to have as many all-time great coaches and quarterbacks. You're probably going to have more next year, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if this is the Bills game surefire, because the line has been flipping back and forth. It's sort of a pick'em in a lot of sports books. But again, like I said with Stroud, are you going to trust Bo Nix to go get you one down the field in the fourth quarter of a playoff game? Are you? Trusted him in the regular season with that. He's actually quite good with that. He was a much better fourth quarter player. He's a much better improvisational player than he is a structured player. He is better when, Bo, we need you to get down the field in a minute, 40 seconds. We have no timeouts. That's when Bo Nix is really good.
But I also think this matchup will be a case of if the Denver Broncos can keep up with the Bills scoring. You mentioned it. They struggle against teams who score over, 20 points. If you're going to play the Bills, you're going to have to be ready for a shootout, and you're going to have to keep up with the Bills. And that's the thing that I don't know if Bo Nix can do against a team in the Buffalo Bills who they've been here before. Like you said, they have that monkey on their back, and this is the year to do it. So that's the tough part that I think the Denver Broncos will need to overcome.
Yeah, Broncos 8-1 at home, 14-3 overall. That game will be 4:30 on CBS and Paramount at Mile High Stadium. First of the AFC games. It's the first game of the weekend. I might go to the lengths to say the winner of that game will move on. I know people said that about the Jacksonville Bills game. I definitely think the winner of this Bills-Broncos game will be the one that come out of the AFC. I do. And I know the Texans and the Broncos is a good matchup because their offense is, beatable on both sides. So that's just going to be a defensive slugfest. But I do like Denver because of the home field. Home field's got to make a difference sometime. And that's why Chicago's got a chance. Chicago's definitely the worst team left in the NFC. But 2 to 3 home games That goes a long way, especially when you're playing in Soldier Field, which we forget how difficult it is to play in Soldier Field because the Packers are on the road every year and the Bears are never in the playoffs. So you rarely have true northern Midwest road environments as of late. Cleveland's never there. Chicago's never there. And Green Bay, at least in last 3 years, have been on the road because they've been 7 seeds. So they never had a road game.
Yeah, that atmosphere against Green Bay was absolutely unbelievable.
That was the best atmosphere of the first round and of the wild card round. And that's a true Midwestern road game. And I know the Northeast is cold too, but there's something to that Midwest.
It's the wind.
It's the wind. And you never see it like you do in Chicago or elsewhere. All right, we'll make our game picks against the spread a little later on. But Damian, the last thing here on the games this weekend, 1 through 8, who is that Super Bowl favorite to you? As it stands today.
Today, I am going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
That's your pick.
That's my pick.
My most likely is the Rams. Team I'm rooting for, San Francisco. I want to see San Francisco accomplish
If I were to
the
pick with
impossible.
my heart, it would be the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. I know Bear fans. I don't want them to have that. I'm going to be honest with you. I know it's a suffering fan base. I don't want them to have that. I only know 2 or 3 Niner fans, and I'm okay if they have that moment.
I feel like there's just a sense of magic in Chicago right now.
There was a sense of magic in Washington, and they got blown out by the Eagles in the NFC Championship game too. So, I mean, that magic can run out, but there's something about being home. There's something about being home. There's something about being in a snow environment. Let's just see how many times Ben Johnson goes for it on 4th down in the first half and puts his defense behind the 8 ball.
Do you think there's a world where he kind of learned his lesson from what happened against the Packers?
No, I don't. Because I think he's cut from Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell's never changed his ways. For better or worse, there's a happy medium.
So it comes out of pride.
There is something I cannot stand on these broadcasts when they bring up the AWS, go for it, probability, AI, and they bring that up on every 4th down imaginable. And every single time it is go for it. 90% of the time they are saying go for it. And I hate it. I cannot stand whenever they do that. It's so performative. They just want to take risks.
It really comes down to just like 2 yards. What are the odds you can get 2 yards? There's no context to it.
Unnecessary gambling. It's unnecessary gambling. I mean, Dan Campbell, I like Dan Campbell. He's a leader of men. He could coach my team any day of the week. But there is something to going for it on 4th down and overdoing it. And maybe Ben Johnson, I know they have had their moments. They've had a superb year. I just did not like how he handled that.
That's also what they love about them, those kinds of coaches, and Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell, though.
Because they're all,
guts, in a sense.
Guts is a word. They just like, it's a rush. It's a rush. It's not safe. The same reason why the Steelers are boring comparatively is because the Chiefs are boring in a lot of ways comparatively because the Chiefs will take their points. The Steelers will take their points. They want the teams that are going to go for it on 4th down. And
it's exciting.
It's exciting. It's a little gambling. It's a disease going around the coaches. That was my theme of the first round. These coaches go for it on 4th down entirely too much. Entirely too much. Punting is a lost art, and taking 3 points is a lost art. Jacksonville got burned by it in the first half against Buffalo as well. So I'm down on going for it on 4th down when you don't need to. I'm out on it. Out on it completely. No doubt.
Especially if you're Chicago and you have the home field advantage and your defense is, not the best in what's left of the playoffs, but I would say they're above average.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But we'll see. We'll make our game picks a little later on. We will blitz the book later on in the program. We got Steve Phillips joining us, former general manager of the Mets, MLB Network insider, all these different places. Steve Phillips, a MLB insider, will join us at 5 o'clock. Talk about Kyle Tucker, some very unsurprising contract to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bo Bichette going to the Mets. We'll talk about all that on a little later on in the program. Up next, I actually signed up at Cacti Park to try out for the national anthem. Now, a couple things happened here. Christian Cat quizzed me on the lyrics of the national anthem yesterday. Let's just say it did not go well. And I did not sing it. It was along the lines of reading the lyrics, which is different because you don't have the rhythm of the song. It's harder to remember when you don't have the rhythm. But I did a poor job yesterday, but I brushed up on it, and I did it today. And we have a video of it. We'll play the recording on the other side. We'll judge it and see if I deserve to get a national anthem rendition before a Cacti Park spring training game. Because at Cacti Park, baseball fans, spring training is on the way. 2026 Cacti Park at the Palm Beach is the place to be all season long. It's in West Palm Beach. Got the Astros and the Nationals hosting some of baseball's biggest names throughout the year. That is the Cardinals. That is the Mets, Yankees, Marlins, Orioles, Phillies, Pirates, and even Team Venezuela are all coming to town. Nothing beats the day at Cacti Park. That's sunshine, the crack of the bat, cold drinks, family time, you name it, they got it. Spring training runs now through March 22nd. Go get your tickets today because they are selling fast. They got fan favorites promotions. They got fireworks night. They're going to have happy hour games, bark in the park night. Bring the family, get a 4 for 4 where you get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, 4 chips. Go to cactipark.com to check out these deals today and lock in your seats because spring training baseball is here in West Palm Beach. Don't miss a moment. Damien, what's your prediction on how I did on this national night before we played on the other side?
I'm very curious to see because I've never heard you sing. I didn't know that was something that you did. You know, this is completely out of left field.
You are. Hold on. We took I gave you an inch. You took a mile. I did not choose to do this.
Oh, okay.
But I like singing. We'll find out if I'm good at it on the other side.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this comes out.
All right.
I hope you get it.
We'll see. Damian Perez, Colin Russo. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
The 4 p.m. hour on ESPN 106.3 is served by the Delray Beach Open. 140 miles per hour aces, parties, and all the good vibes. Get your tickets today at DelrayBeachOpen.com.
Evan Cohen here from Unsportsmanlike, and this is what South Florida sports are all about. The Heat bringing the fire, the Panthers bringing the fight, and the football never stops. You can feel the energy everywhere you go. It's all happening right here on ESPN 106.3.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I used to talk about the weather as small talk. Now I talk about McValue deal days at McDonald's. A hamburger or cheeseburger for just 69 cents on Sundays and Wednesdays. I'm chit-chatting for days. A 6-piece chicken McNuggets for 99 cents on Mondays. Catch me yapping all day, dude. I'm not even mad about it. You want the deals? You need the app. Get 99-cent McNuggets and 69-cent hamburgers or cheeseburgers only in the app. These deals will definitely give you something to talk about. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Valid Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays in January and February at participating McDonald's. Valid once per day. Must opt into rewards.
Hey, Colin man.
Good people. It's Theo Dorsey. Let's kick off the new year with a home upgrade that's a win for you and the environment. A Culligan high-efficiency water softener helps you use less soap, less detergent, and fewer chemicals. Talk about a game-winning play. Try Culligan today for 12 months interest-free. Visit Culligan.com for more information and to schedule your free water test. Or just say,
hey, Colligan man.
Many people start trimming trees when they hear a storm is on the way, but that leaves piles of branches on the ground that could become dangerous projectiles during a storm. Instead, having a year-round trimming plan is better for you, your neighbors, and the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. When trimming is done correctly and on schedule, your trees are stronger and more resistant to wind damage. After the storm passes, there's less vegetative debris, helping the SWA clean up your community faster. Learn more at swa.org/storm.
Picking national championship odds. I wonder what Miami's odds are right now after they could be making a big splash last second of the transfer portal. But go download Hard Rock Bet app today where you could get on every single game. You got 4 divisional games this weekend. You get college basketball throughout the weekend. You get the NBA through the weekend. You got MLB around the corner, the national championship on Monday night at Hard Rock Stadium. Bet all this on the app. Go get started today. Put just $5 in the app. If you win that first $5 bet, you get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account. It is that easy. Then you can sprinkle around and have a ton of fun with it. because with Hard Rock Bet, it is just about anybody's game. If you don't even know what to bet, you go to the Discover page and see what other users are putting together, tap and tag along on their stuff. It is that easy. It is that fun. It's Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-833-ADMIT-IT. All right, Damian, couple things here. Number one, so it was floated out throughout the day. I didn't know how to react to it because I didn't know if there was any truth to it. But Darian Mensah, who is the quarterback of Duke, the ACC champion Duke, if you remember, who had a superb season and was a player that could have been floated at going out into the NFL draft this year and probably would have been a first-round pick. But he went back to Duke because he signed a 2-year deal of NIL, whatever that means. And he was going to make $4 million a year, upwards of that. And he was going to come back for next year and likely go to the draft after that. That was all set, I would say, 2 weeks ago. Right at the beginning of the transfer portal, we knew that Darian Mensah was going back to Duke, and he was sort of out of the running for everybody else. It was announced earlier today that Duke got worried that he was going to enter the transfer portal because some suitors came in late trying to, woo him in their direction. I have one guess as to what team that is, and they might be playing on Monday night. But after, I guess, a couple hours, it was announced by Pete Thamel of college football on ESPN that Darian Mensah plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. He submitted his request for transfer paperwork. Now, there's a ton of logistics that we could get into a little later on. But first things first, this is Miami all over. He also said, per a source, Tennessee is not the one recruiting Darian Mensah. Nobody said anything about Miami yet. That's where all signs point. And this is all alleged. None of this is confirmed, at least from my perspective. But I know the number trying to get Ty Simpson was about $6.5–7 million, and that's what Ty Simpson eventually said no to. I've heard that Miami's offer for Darian Mensah, and I don't know if this is true, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'll just get it out there because it is ridiculous, is nearly $10 million.
Wow.
And it has like a bunch of other things, such as like housing and housing in a country
whole 9
club.
yards.
Apparently, his sister's a soccer player at a school, and they want to give her NIL as well.
That explains why he's staying in college.
Right. So I don't know if that's true, but that's sort of what's being floated around, because how much do you have to offer a guy making $4 million a year to get him to go back on his commitment to a school last second and join you and your ranks in the same conference, likely, if you're Miami? How do you convince him to do that? You give him an offer he cannot refuse. And it sounds like Miami put something together that was an offer he could not refuse. I don't know if this is true, but I do know that he is in the transfer portal, and he is likely going to Miami. Miami, who does not have a transfer quarterback. Carson Beck is done after this year. They missed out on Sam Levitt, who's the Arizona State transfer. They've missed out on Brendan Sorsby, who's going to be at Texas Tech. So they've missed out on a number of guys, and they also have a national championship game to prepare for. With a national championship game and a little extra cash, maybe they just funneled that right to Darian Mensah.
Yeah, and to miss out on all those quarterbacks, but still land a quarterback like Darian Mensah.
I'm telling you, Mensah's going to be a top 10 pick next year.
He was third in the nation in pass yards. He had 34 pass touchdowns, fifth in the nation, and he led Duke to a bowl game against.
And also, he won the ACC championship game.
And he beat Arizona State in a bowl game. So, I mean, to miss out on all those guys that you just mentioned and still land a quarterback like Darian Mensah, I mean, that's huge for to continue this run. And why not if you're not Miami? If it's not now, then when?
Yeah, I wonder if they gave him, upward of $6.5 million of what they offered Ty Simpson. If it's more than that, if it's less than that, who knows? But how much do you have to give a player to fork over that NIL contribution? Now, this happened a little bit with Washington, and it eventually led to the kid coming back to school. But Pete Thamel also put out a report that a couple things about this Miami and the Duke deal that he has signed is the school has his contract NIL rights. And I assume what that means is they're exclusive NIL rights of him, and only Duke has the ability to cancel it. So Duke would have to clear him leaving, I guess, to allow to market his name's likeness, selling jerseys, selling shirts, that type of thing, getting him sponsorship deals. I imagine Duke has the rights to that. Now, is this a situation where it's like Washington, where they're essentially going to keep the kid put and they're going to threaten legal action because that's what LSU did?
Yeah.
Or is this going to be a situation where they let him go and he says, I want to leave, and they eventually just say, all right, fine.
I don't think it makes it any easier that he could potentially be going to a team which they're in the same conference.
Listen, I'm petty. If I'm Duke, I'm saying no. You're not going anywhere.
They have no reason to let him walk.
You're not going anywhere. You're not going. You make it. We're paying you $4 or $5 million. You're going to leave? You've been here last year. We just won an ACC championship. You're going to leave to a team in the conference? I'm sure Duke plays Miami next year. Really? I understand it's wild, wild west. But when you sign a contract, why sign a contract if you don't have to abide by the contract?
They have the leverage.
What is the point of the contract? That's not a contract. That's like it's a verbal agreement, essentially. It's a handshake deal. So I don't understand why, if that's the case, I'd be petty if I was Duke. I would. I don't know if that's Duke's style. They're a classy university for the most part. But
something will get worked out behind the scenes.
I guess. The transfer portal closes in 7 hours? Closes at midnight tonight.
Duke has all the leverage in the world in this situation.
But what's the leverage? What type of deal can they even...
It's not like the NFL where you're looking to trade the player.
Is Miami buying out this contract? Does he still owe this money? Do they just void the contract? I don't know if and I'm assuming this is Miami. This is all assumption that Darian Mensah, the Duke quarterback, will be the Miami next starting quarterback next year. I don't know if that's all confirmed yet, but he's got to announce it soon. So I don't know when that timeline is going to be, but Miami's the team to watch. I don't understand why Duke would just let that happen. I don't. And I don't know, and I know it's bad for the sport. We know the transfer portal is bad for the sport. This doesn't tell you anything new comparatively. We all knew that this was, you could buy any player you wanted as long as you had the money. We knew that. But signing contracts and on the last second, because a team that is richer than you is desperate, and then just hopping out ship when the rest of the team just caters their entire transfer portal strategy to catering to you as their starting quarterback, and then you're going to kind of leave them out to dry like that? That is not the right thing to do. It's wrong. That's wrong. So I don't like how that's being done. I don't like the timing of it all. But it sounds like Miami's got their guy.
Especially when Duke is probably trying to build on the success that they had this season.
They had a pretty good year. They had a tough schedule, but they played well in ACC play. So I don't know. How could they have a backup plan? How? That guy's an NFL caliber quarterback. He probably could have been drafted this year. He'll be a very good player next year. I don't know. Sounds like Miami will get their guy. Will keep you updated if Miami were to do this. 888-760-3776 with Darian Mensah entering the portal. Seems like Miami's going to be the team to scoop the transfer quarterback out of Duke. Last second, 2 days before the national championship game with 7 hours on the clock left in the transfer portal when Darian Mensah already has a contract signed to Duke on a multi-year deal. Sport broken? Is this the right thing to do if you're Miami? Or is it if you could afford it, do it? Let us know. 888-760-3776. The number to get into the show, 888-760-3776. Now, Damien, something interesting happened today. I had a weird day. Went down to Miami. I had to pick up the credentials for the national championship game, so we're going to be at the game. We're going to be doing a bunch of coverage there, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I also went to Cacti Park at the Palm Beaches to try out for the national anthem. What? So I never was under the impression that you can try out for these events. I thought they went to musicians, and I thought they asked musicians to do the national anthem. I did not know guys off the street could go do it. So that was news to me. I heard there were tryouts. They had them all day. I didn't know what to expect. I was told to show up, and I showed up. And I did not know the words this time yesterday, but I knew the words now. And I'm very good with the words, by the way. Patriot. But point being is I show up, and it's a nice, cool day. I don't know. There's nobody in the building. So I'm like, where the heck is everybody? And I'm looking around. I don't know where to go. I don't know if this is in a closet, if this is in the back room. Is this on the field? I have no idea. So I'm walking around the corridor where, like, third base line. And eventually I see a table behind home plate with 4 people sitting in it. I'm like, you got to be kidding. And there's a mic just like right in front of it. Like, think American Idol. And it's right in front of you. And so I go up, and a couple things threw me off. I knew Tatum, who works with the Cacti Park. I know Tatum because she's part of their social media team. And one of our former interns at ESPN West Palm from last year was another one of the judges. These are judges. This is like Simon Cowell and like guys at American Idol.
For more context, you're their boss. You were their boss at least.
Formerly. But Former intern was there. All right, geez. All right, that's a problem. And, well, maybe that helps me, actually. So I was thinking that helps me. There was another girl there who I did not know, and I met her there. And she seemed to be a little bit more the decision maker of the bunch. And there was another guy there who I interviewed for the internship. So I know like 3 people here. And I'm like, all right, this is bizarre. And so I go up. We'll release the video on ESPN West Palm on socials eventually. And I like I'm at the moment where I'm like practicing the lyrics in my head because I cannot lose the lyrics, right? And I go up and we recorded my interaction with them and then my actual recording. Take a listen to my rendition of the national anthem, trying out to do a national anthem before a ball game at Cacti Park at the Palm Beaches earlier today.
In the car, so do I get multiple chances?
You have it there, Dame?
Oh my God.
Say like hello to the stadium.
This carries very well.
Say hello to the people.
Hello, Cacti Park. How you guys doing? My name is Colin Russo. I'll workshop. This is work. All right, here we go. No background music.
Nope. All you.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose flush and bright stars through the perilous night. O'er the ramparts we watched were so silently streaming, and the voice singing air came through the night that our flag was there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land? And the home of the brave.
Damien?
Honestly?
Hold on. So for those who just tuned in the middle of that was my rendition of the national anthem. I was trying out at Cacti Park to do one before a ball game this year. And I don't know. I'm not a singer. And
I honestly,
they had the mic set up. It was at home plate.
I'm kind of impressed.
No way.
I thought you dug deep at the beginning. You started off really well. Towards the middle, you kind of got stuck.
I fell apart.
It's like you forgot the words.
No, I did forget the words. So that was what I kept telling people. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, I lost the lyric, but I found it.
I will say though, towards the end, you lost it.
I lost
you
it.
absolutely
It's
lost
hard to
it.
nail the
It
end.
started off really well.
Hard to nail the end. I screwed up the end. I
And
tried to
the
get Whitney
end-
Houston. You know what I did? I listened to Whitney Houston do the national anthem, and she does that really high.
Try to channel.
I tried to. I got too cute. You got too cute. I was Ben Johnson. I started gambling.
But for the most part, if you were able to keep the momentum you started with, I thought that we could have seen you this weekend.
They were going to announce what day I could do. Would be potentially throughout the season.
We potentially could have seen you.
So you don't think that's gonna? You don't think that's making it through?
I don't think you stuck the landing. You had to stick that landing, and I don't think you did. But
you don't think that's making it through?
For the first time that could have gone way worse. For the first, I think you'd get it on the second try.
You think I needed to give it another rip?
One more rip, and
I told
probably
him, I'm like, you want me to go again?
Well, I don't think that's fair.
Why not?
You have to come back. It's one of those things where you tried today, you didn't get it, but you have to maybe sign up again and try again. But they can't give you a second. If not, they have to give everybody a second try.
I don't know. Damien, I got a little too cute. You know what? I lost the lyric of "Or the Ramparts We Watched." I got burned there because I completely lost it. I just lost it. But I think that the pause actually added a little flair to the performance. And on top of that, the Rockets' red glare That's an impossible note to hit. That's a tough note. That's a really tough note to hit.
Very high note.
And I just sent this to a weirdly enough, I know a professional singer. And, not like a famous singer, but she's a professional. And I did send this to her, so I'm awaiting her response to see what I could have improved upon. I personally think, Damien, that has a shot.
You think you still have a shot?
I think that has a shot.
So it's not something that they told you right then on the spot.
They
You didn't get it?
They said a couple days.
Are you nervous at all?
No. No. Because I know, again, Damien, I was playing with house money.
Yeah.
I was playing with house money.
Absolutely.
That deserves a shot.
Were you able to see any of the other competitors?
No. So I walk in and I was expecting a line of 100 people. Like, like American Idol, you're at like an actor's audition, you waited for 3 hours and you get 2 minutes to do it. I thought it was going to be like that. There was not.
So that can also play in your favor. Maybe the pool is very small. Yeah.
I think they need to give me a shot. I think I deserve a shot. I screwed up a couple things. The ending I botched, but I just need more practice. That was the first time
It's very pure. I feel like it was something that, like, anybody who watched that knows you didn't practice it. You kind of just went up there and just like,
I let it rip.
Let's see what happens.
I let it rip.
Yeah.
Beginning, I nailed. Beginning, I was
Started
on a roll.
off hot. Yeah.
I was on a roll. Right? It's a shame.
Maybe it's like a marathon. You know how when you're in a marathon, you can't start off too hot or you're kind of like just fade out.
Well, I can't start off bad. I got to surprise them. I think I did surprise them. The best part is there's a good mic. It like carried very well and it was in the ballpark speakers.
So it like echoed.
So the construction people working on the stadium around it got to listen to that whole.
They all stopped what they were doing and just turned around.
Wow. Jeez. I think it's not bad. I'm going to be honest. We'll play that again a little later on. Damian Perez, Colin Russo. Kyle Tucker signs with the Los Angeles Dodgers last night. Bo Bichette signs with the New York Mets today. Peculiar contract language. $60 million for Kyle Tucker, but with an opt-out after the first year. I think this is leading to a baseball lockout, and I think that Kyle Tucker deal secures it. We'll bring in an expert. We'll bring in Steve Phillips, former Mets general manager, MLB insider, on the other side of things as we enter into the 5 o'clock hour of Russo and Rizzo. Stay tuned on ESPN 106.3.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Anna Jar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Thieves are stealing property every day throughout Florida, and it can happen to anyone. Hi, I'm Mike Caruso, your clerk of court of Palm Beach County, here to tell you about my office's free property fraud alert service. Just sign up at mypalmbeachclerk.com/property fraud, and you'll get an email anytime a document is recorded in your name, address, or property parcel number. Stop them and sign up for property fraud alert. It only takes a minute to register at mypalmbeachclerk.com/PFA.
College football fans, it's time. The ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour is rolling into City Place, West Palm Beach. Join us Saturday night, January 17th from 4 to 8 for live ESPN radio shows. We'll have awesome giveaways. You can try your shot at our Serve Pro Rapid Response Reflex game, a Robin Hood football toss, and maybe even grab a free Monster Energy drink. Bring your friends, rep your school, and be part of the action as ESPN Radio takes over City Place. Saturday, January 17th from 4 to 8 at City Place, West Palm Beach.
Are you a business owner or handle your company's marketing? Banyan Printing and Signs partners with over 1,000 local businesses in Palm Beach County. Their full-service solution saves you time and money by eliminating multiple vendors. From business cards and brochures to direct mail services and signage, they do it all. Fast turnaround, free local delivery, and superior customer service are what sets Banyan apart. Could a market leader with 48 years improve your current model? Visit banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Funnel cake. Rise. Farm animal.
Wake up, South Florida Fair.
Don't tell me what's fair. What? The South Florida Fair is open. Why didn't you say so sooner? Thursdays are BOGO Thursdays. Buy one admission ticket and get one ticket free. Every food vendor will have a BOGO deal. Enroll credit bundles or half off on BOGO Thursdays. Visit southfloridafair.com/BOGO for details or download the Fair app. Open now through February 1st in West Palm Beach.
The PGA Tour is back in Palm Beach. The Cognizant Classic returns February 25th through March 1st to the Champion Course at PGA National Resort and Spa. Be here to watch PGA Tour players take on the Bear Trap, one of the toughest stretches in golf, while enjoying elevated fan activities around every corner. Experience the energy with your friends and take in the excitement of this can't-miss event. Tickets are on sale now at thecognizantclassic.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Colin to the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
West Palm Beach natives, you got to pay attention because if you're a golf fan, you got to realize PGA's Tour's best are on the course, but it's really in the arena up in Palm Beach Gardens. Season 2 of TGL, presented by SoFi, is back with big moments, big personalities, nonstop action on the big screen. Shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, city versus city, squad versus squad. Tickets are on sale now, but availability is limited. Go to tglgolf.com to get your tickets while they last. That's TGL, presented by SoFi. Keep up. It is golf. Colin Russo and Damian Perez with you today. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 on the 16th of January, 2026. After a slow-ish start to MLB free agency, the bombs went off in a lot of ways last night when Kyle Tucker made a splash signing to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bo Bichette goes over to the Mets. Ranger Suarez heads over to the Red Sox. We got a lot to talk about and a couple implications. I want to bring in an expert on the matter. It is Mr. Steve Phillips, the former Mets general manager, MLB insider, joining us now. Steve, how you doing today? What's going on?
I'm doing great, Colin. Good to be with you.
Steve, first of all, big kind of bombshell last night with Tucker to the Dodgers. $240 million. You're going to be paid a whole lot of money. Opt-outs, contract language is funky. What'd you make of this signing when you first saw it last night?
Yeah, I thought it was absurd. Like, I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe it. I thought it was crazy when the Mets went to $50 million a year for 3 years. Then I heard them go to the fourth year. Then it was $55 million. And then next thing you know, the Dodgers are 4 years, $60 million. And remember, for the Dodgers, they're paying 110% tax on that. Now, the present value of some of the money's deferred. The present value is $57.1 million per year. And then the 110% tax on that means that it's $119,900,000 is what it's going to cost the Dodgers for Kyle Tucker to play in 2026. It's crazy what they're doing, but they get the player. And, you know, whenever we say they overpaid, it's always the teams that didn't get the player that say it. But they get it done. They steal them away from the Blue Jays, who had a long-term offer on the table. They take them away from the Mets, who were, you know, trying to structure something the same way, but the Dodgers prevail and they get the best free agent player in the market.
Yeah, nearly $100 million more in tax payroll comparatively to the second place Mets. It's a valuable contract in terms of the amount of money that they're spending. Guaranteed salary from 2026 on, $2 billion essentially for the Dodgers. Spend a lot of money on these players. I guess it's working. You're right. I like how you said it's the teams that don't get the players that complain about this. I'm curious about the contract nature itself. There's a bunch of opt-out natures attached to it. Why do they add those stipulations into the contract? Is it to give the Dodgers flexibility, to give Tucker flexibility? Is it about the pending CBA? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, so the opt-outs are always for the player. Players like opt-outs because they'll take a shorter-term deal. You know, he had a 10-year offer on the table from the Blue Jays. What he wants to do is go out, have a great season, and then consider going out to free agency again and turning this, what's remaining 3 years on a deal, into like a 10-year contract, right, to get the long-term security overall. And so, and look, from a team's perspective, I don't mind giving the opt-outs because my view is, and we saw it for Bo Bichette too with his deal with the Mets, my view is, okay, give me the 28, 29-year-old guy and understand that the short-term deal means I'm going to get him for the most years of his prime, and I'm not having to pay him for age 32 through 37 or 38 or 39, where the player's going to decline. He's going to be overpaid at that point. So I'll pay him more for the short term. And then when he opts out for the long-term deal, let somebody else pay him for those older years. And I'll go get the next 28-year-old and do the same deal with him. And I'll just keep recycling younger players, paying them more for the short term, but at least I'm getting the prime years of their career.
Yeah, not a ton of longer term, I guess 5+ year contracts this time around comparatively. When you have a 10+ year deal on the table, why don't players want to take that? Aren't they looking for the stability at this point, or is it just to max them out the possible career earnings that they could get? What goes into that?
Yeah, look, you hire Scott Boras to get you the most money, not to give you the comfort level of a place. And so, and I think that like, for instance, Alex Bregman wasn't getting the long-term deal that he wanted last year. So he took the 3-year deal with opt-outs after every year. Yet that contract, he was getting paid kind of commensurate with what his value was in the market. And, if he got hurt or if he underperformed, he could stay. He'd get a 3-year deal. But, for him, he wants to go out there and now get the long-term deal. And so he took 5 years at a little bit more money this time around with the Cubs. And so, players want the long term, but they also want to max out the money. And what happens is there's a point where the shorter term deal, if there's enough money put in it, makes sense to say, okay, years, and then I'll go back out at the age of 32 or 33. I'll try to do what Kyle Schwarber did. Might not get $60 million, but what if I get $30 million for the next 5 years? Then I've certainly, superseded anything I could get today on contract. And it's just a matter of trying to get as much money as the players can. And look, I don't begrudge them for doing that. If they can get it, they should.
Steve Phillips joining us now, the host of the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio, the former Mets general manager, talking about some of the offseason moves that we've seen, I guess, as the floodgates have opened the last couple of days here in the MLB offseason. One thing I want to talk about that I think everybody's reaction was when they saw the notification that Kyle Tucker was going to the Dodgers is it's, to a lot of fans, to a lot of I assume other teams and players, it's become a little tiresome to see the Dodgers just get the top guy every time they go out into the postseason. I understand they have the resources to do it. They are the most willing to put money back out into the team that they get in. They already got Edwin Diaz, a star closer, earlier in the year. But there's those people out there who complain and say this is exactly what's wrong with baseball. And this is exactly why the parity is not what it should be, despite it being a great postseason. Now, what do you think this contract and what we've seen from the Dodgers last year, do you think that has any implication on how the players' union versus the owners is going to be come CBA time a year from now?
So my belief is it shouldn't, but I think it will, right? There are small market owners who are going to stomp their feet and scream and yell and want socialism in baseball, where we're going to take from the rich and give to the poor. Even though they knew what they were buying when they bought a small market team, they were buying the revenues that came with it. They were buying the population around the stadium that came with it. They then say, okay, now I want you to give me what you have. And so I understand that we've got salary caps in other sports. I think baseball's different. Remember, we haven't had a back-to-back World Series champion Now we do for the Dodgers. We hadn't had one since, the Yankees back in, 98, 99, and 2000. So, but in the NFL, we had the Patriots win multiple years in a row. We had the Chiefs win multiple years in a row. We have the same teams always get into the playoffs in the NFL, and they brag about parity and the salary cap. But I see the same teams in the NFL almost every year that are fighting it out for the NFC and AFC championship. And then, the 49ers have been, 8 years in a row or something like that. And prior to that, they used to put in Wikipedia that the AFC championship is where teams play all year trying to figure out who's going to play the Patriots in that game. And so I think that there's enough whining going on that they're going to want to try to solve a problem that I don't necessarily believe is a problem. Yeah, the Dodgers are spending enough that they're going to pretty much guarantee they're going to be in the playoffs every year. But they had the highest payroll by far, and it took them to Game 7 of the World Series in extra innings to pull it out and win it. And so it's not a slam dunk. There are other good teams. The Brewers, a smaller market team, had the best record in the National League, better than the Dodgers this past year. And we see how this year, I think the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to be competitive in the NL Central with the pitching staff and the bats they've added. So it's not going to matter. I think that the commissioner has heard enough from fans in small markets that complain that they feel like they're out of it before the season begins. He wants to honor that. But I think it's a non-starter with the union. And so the idea of a salary cap, I think the owners need to find a different way to solve this, whether it's changing the revenue sharing model where they give more money to small market teams and then tell them that they have to put it into payroll, because right now there is no restriction on it. They get some of these small market teams, they get revenue sharing and they put it in their pocket. They let it go to the bottom line. They don't spend it on payroll. And so I think there's a way to resolve it without the quote unquote salary cap being installed. But I think that there's enough sort of rebels out there that it's got a chance to be a fight, unfortunately.
And do you think that if you were to make a guess today, do you think that's going to cause a shortage of games, perhaps in 2027, if you had to make a prediction today that this sort of labor battle that will eventually take place about whether having a cap, a floor, payments, whatever it might, deferrals, you think that will, if you make a prediction today, that we will have less baseball games than 162 in 2027?
Yeah, I will tell you, the commissioner's proud of the fact that we've never lost games since he's been in the commissioner's office. Now, remember, he came in when I was the general manager. Rob was in charge of labor relations. He was the guy doing the negotiating, Rob Manfred. And so he's been part of these negotiations forever. He is committed to not letting other people negotiate, but he's going to be in the room. And I think some part of this will play into his legacy. I think that he's been a Hall of Fame commissioner. I know people don't like to hear that, but I think he has. Some of the rule changes have been absolutely fantastic for the game. We've got new stadiums. We've changed the playoff format. Revenues have grown exponentially. But I do think this is a big issue. He does not want to lose games. And I think that he'll work hard to try to find a resolution that keeps us on the field. So there will be a lockout most likely. And there will be a lot of saber rattling. But I'm still hopeful that cooler minds will prevail. We'll find a way to get a deal done.
Now, I'm curious, because you have the front office experience yourself. Is there any truth or any sort of method to the fact that maybe these front offices and agents are thinking in the fact that there are likely going to be major changes in regard to how teams and players can get paid maybe next year or the year after, and that's making changes or that's impacting the way they negotiate this year or next year? Is there any truth to that or no?
So having negotiated and been around through a number of different labor agreements, none of it really changed the deals that were made because, even if there was thought that arbitration would change or everything else, the value of the players stayed consistent. It was just a matter of the structure in which how they were going to get paid. And so, there are some players that would like to take less money next year in case there is a work stoppage. So that salary would be less than maybe the years later than that when, if there is any sort of lost games, they'll lose less money. They'll just backload the contract a little bit. So maybe there's some of that going on. But, some idea that let me take money in signing bonus and then have that signing bonus paid in 2027 so that if there is a work stoppage, I've got cash flow coming in. But beyond that, I don't think there's major differences in the values of players being considered on either side of it right now.
Steve Phillips with us now on ESPN West Palm. Now, the Mets, for better or worse, have been in a little bit of hot water pre-today because of how David Stearns, general manager, the president of baseball operations for that team, handled the Pete Alonso situation. Diaz left. Now, all of a sudden, they get Bo Bichette in there on a big contract for 3 years, $126 million. From a Mets perspective, do you think they handled this offseason the right way? And do you think they've positioned themselves nicely for 2026?
Yeah, I think they're in some hot water right now. I mean, I think that almost every move they made has been less than. So they let Pete Alonso go. They signed Jorge Polanco. Polanco is going to play at the back end of the contract at the age where Alonso would if they had signed him to the 5-year deal. And they weren't okay with Alonso, but they're okay with Polanco. And Polanco's a guy that needed to DH most of the year last year to keep off of his knees. And I don't know that he can play first base. So they're less at first base. They let Edwin Diaz go. Devin Williams is there, but he's not as good as Edwin Diaz. They traded Nimmo for Marcus Semien, who's a second baseman, whose offensive game has really deteriorated. He's been a below-average offensive player, and so they're less offensively. And then they signed Bichette, who's a second baseman. Where for me, I think they would have been a better team with Bichette at second and Nimmo in left field than they are now. And one of the things David Stearns has talked about is that he wanted to be better run prevention. They wanted to be better defensively. Well, you're pounding a square peg into a round hole with Bichette going to third. And then the idea they have is that Brett Beatty's going to go from third base to left field that he hasn't played. Another round peg in a square hole. So I don't know. They're not done. I mean, if they get Cody Bellinger, I'll feel better. If they get Framber Valdez, I'll get better. But that just means that they've got about another $300 million to spend to try to get out there and be competitive next year.
And Steve, last thing here, have you liked what Boston has done? Boston not getting Bregman, not getting Alonso. They got Ranger Suarez in here now. How do you think Boston's handled their offseason?
I think Boston's been great. I really like the Red Sox a lot. Wilson Contreras is more than capable defensively at first. He's a very good offensive player. He's a 120 to 130 OPS plus guy, 20% better than average. They didn't get Bregman, and I will tell you that I didn't blame him, Craig Breslow, for not believing Scott Boras when when you negotiate, I make you an offer. If you come to me and say, yeah, you're underestimating the market, there's more out there than what you think, I'm not going to throw more money in the deal. You've got to give me something substantive to negotiate. I'm not going to negotiate against myself. And that's kind of what happened, to the point where the Red Sox didn't believe it. Now, if Scott had gone to them and said, hey, we've got the Cubs at 170 and they've got opt-outs in the deal, are you willing to match that? Then I think that Bregman might have had a better opportunity to choose where he wanted to go, and he might have chosen Boston. But the way it played out, Bregman got mad because the Red Sox didn't move, but I don't blame them for not moving. So I don't think they did that wrong. The Ranger Suarez pivot was interesting. I thought it would be Bichette. They went pitching, but they're in a position they can get any player they want in the big leagues. If Skubal's available, if they want him, they can get him. Brendan Donovan's going to be their target with Heim Bloom. They've already made a couple deals there. They could trade major league outfielders, major league pitching, minor league players. They've got as much flexibility as anybody right now. I love where the Red Sox are. They've got great pitching, and they're going to score enough to back it up. I think they're going to be a fun team this year.
Yeah, they got young talent offensively, and they're going to have as good as pitching as anybody. Steve, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of time here to kind of break down the Kyle Tucker contract and all the other things that's going on in the MLB. Appreciate it as always. Looking forward to talking again soon.
You got it, Colin. Anytime, buddy.
You got it. That's Steve Phillips, of course, the former general manager of the New York Mets and the current host on MLB Network Radio on the leadoff spot. So that was Steve Phillips. Appreciate him giving us the time. If you missed any of that, go listen back on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Just go to Russo and Rizzo. A couple interesting things there. Steve Phillips, being a former general manager himself, is actually anti-salary cap. And he thinks that the salary cap is the wrong move because you're just making a little, he said, socialism in baseball. And he also regarded that, hey, NFL has had dynasty after dynasty, and baseball is the one sport that hasn't really had that. NBA's been pretty good about that the last 10 or so years, but baseball hasn't really had repeat champions since the Dodgers and the Yankees in the late 90s. So I understand his perspective. But if you're going to sit here from a fan and say, boy, Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers is a great signing, other than Dodger fans, nobody's saying that. People are saying This is an embarrassment of riches. It is entirely too much to one team, and I understand they have the resources more than anybody, and for that, it needs to be regulated. That's my perspective on that. Damian Perez, Colin, Russo will do a little 5-5 on the other side of things. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE. In office, West Palm Beach.
At HSS, movement is their specialty. Their team of experts provide personalized treatment options backed by over 160 years of orthopedic expertise. Whether you need advanced non-surgical solutions, surgical care, or comprehensive rehabilitation, HSS Florida delivers the exceptional quality care you expect from HSS, the nation's #1 in orthopedics. With 3 locations in West Palm Beach, Wellington, and now Jupiter, expert care has never been closer to home. Choose better, move better. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Whether it's a clutch touchdown pass, a game-winning dunk, or an impressive dash to the finish, we want to highlight the best performance of the week. The winning performance will receive $500 courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Catch the biggest moments and winners all season long on ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. Nominate them today by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Welcome to being treated like a pro.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Robert Gilman, partner and leader of Anshin's Real Estate Group.
Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, 100% bonus depreciation has been permanently reinstated. Real estate businesses are now able to immediately expense the full cost of qualifying property. Even projects with millions in improvements can benefit from first-year expensing without any spending cap. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we strategically guide real estate businesses through these legislative changes to help them develop a long-term investment strategy and boost cash flow. If you're a real estate professional looking to enhance profitability and minimize tax liabilities, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. No, you see, you get $150 in bonus bets after your first $5 bet hits.
Did somebody say hit?
Whoa, Ray Lewis? We were just saying if your bet hits.
Huh. You know I love a good form tackle.
We know, Ray. We know.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets. Not a cash offer. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Spring training 2026 at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is approaching fast as the Miami Marlins and St. Louis Cardinals return to Jupiter for 30 games in 30 days from February 21st to March 22nd. Individual tickets are now on sale as well as season tickets, groups, mini plans, and more. Purchase your tickets at RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com or call the ticket office at 561-630-1828. See you soon at America's busiest ballpark.
This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
College football fans, get ready because the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour is coming to City Place, West Palm Beach this Saturday before it heads down to Miami. Join us Saturday night, January 17th, 4 to 8 p.m. You can see the Airstream over there at City Place. You could also win a couple games, Serve Pro Rapid Response Reflex game, a football toss, some awesome giveaways. Go get a free Monster drink at the City Place on Saturday. Bring your friends, rep your school, have some fun. It's going to be a great Saturday night, good weather, and join for some nonstop football fun. Myself and Theo Dorsey will be doing a show 5 to 7 live on site, which will be streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm and ESPN South Florida. That is Saturday, January 17th, 4 to 8 p.m. at City Place, West Palm Beach. Don't miss it. Colin Russo and Damian Perez. It's the 5 o'clock hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage. Let's bounce around a little bit. Let's have a little fun. Let's do a little 5-5, presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas. No brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Number 1.
Well, the rich just got richer indeed. Kyle Tucker has signed with the Dodgers on a 4-year, $240 million, which will pay him $60 million per year. With this move, the Dodgers' total financial commitment heading into the 2026 season now sits at a staggering $2.11 billion. That includes deferred contract. What does a signing like this mean for the rest of the Major League Baseball? Does it widen the competitive gap or force other contenders to keep the pace?
Now, baseball is always baseball. It's going to be the ultimate equalizer in terms of you just got to get hot at the right time, and even the best of the best can get cold. You saw that the Dodgers, they were dead to rights in a lot of ways, down 3-2 heading to Toronto against the Toronto Blue Jays. But, baseball works out the way it works out. That's how it goes. I'm not going to say that it's just going to be unfair, but the Dodgers are going to win 110 games a year every year. And they're going to be in the postseason. The Yankees are going to be in the postseason. The Phillies are going to be in the postseason. The Padres are going to be in the postseason. Teams like that are always going to be around, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just leaves a little less margin for error for the smaller market teams. We just had Steve Phillips on. If you missed any of that, you should go listen back. On the former general manager of the Mets and current MLB Network radio host. He's anti-salary cap. He thinks it's not the right solution to a problem. He thinks that there should be maybe requirements for teams to put back money into the payroll, short-term requirements. Let's say the Athletics make $100 million. Instead of just pocketing all of it, they have a requirement to put a certain percentage back into the payroll. Maybe that is a solution. My personal opinion is the Dodgers are entirely they're too willing to put their money back in. It is rich and poor, and the gap is widening. I mean, I don't know how you look at it and say this doesn't need to be regulated. It does. It does. 10 years ago, it was a lot different than what it is now because the gap is widening. Sports teams are skyrocketing in value, and these teams are making as much money as they've ever made in their entire lives. So because of that, I would say this is not good for baseball. I would say that the sport needs a cap. It also needs a floor. You need to force the bad franchises to spend money as well. I think that's the way to do it. Damien, do you agree with that or disagree?
Yeah, I think at the point where we're at nowadays, something definitely needs to be done. And everything
you can't just let it happen. They're going to do this every year. Yep. How do you expect the small market fan to continue to stay on top of the Tampa Bay Rays or the Pittsburgh Pirates when they do not keep every big player they have? I don't know. I would say under the impression it's important to have somebody to root for, have a fan, have a face of the franchise. And all these small market teams, you cannot rely on it. I'm an Athletics fan. Every big player we've ever gotten and had in the last 10 years have been traded or let walk. How does that encourage fandom? How does that encourage regionality? It doesn't. It grows the game for the bigger markets. It helps for the national media to sink their teeth into it when there's only 6 teams you got to pay attention to. But I don't think it's good for the overall league. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
The Bears-Rams game is expected to be one of the coldest games in recent NFL history. The The wind chills are expected to range from 0 to -10 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the day on Sunday, with gusts up to 20 miles per hour. Will this weather play a factor in Sunday's NFC showdown, considering the fact that the Rams play in a controlled environment at SoFi, or will it be just as much of a challenge for the Chicago Bears?
It's going to be a challenge for both teams. It's going to shrink the margin of error in terms of what you could do in the game, because it's going to be harder to throw. It's going to be harder to play defense. It's going to be harder to stay on your keys. But the one thing about it is the Chicago Bears are used to this. And the Rams, I don't think they've played a game under 50 degrees all season long. So because of that, this favors the Chicago Bears in some capacity.
Bears have played at least 2 or 3.
At least. And they play in tough road environments throughout December. Cold. It's a good equalizer. Rams are a better team, but that's why you fight so hard for a home game. Outdoor home game at Soldier Field, you almost forget how dangerous it is because we never get them. We never get a home game at Soldier Field. This is tipping into the favor of Chicago. I would start buying in now. Number 3.
The stage is set for Monday. Indiana and Miami meet Monday night with a national championship on the line. 2 programs with very different paths to this life-changing moment. So the question is simple. Which team's path to the title game has been more impressive to you, Indiana's or Miami's?
Miami's had better wins. Miami's surprised people more, but in terms of dominance, it's been Indiana. Not even a question. And the one thing about Miami is you got to give them credit because they won in a lot of ways, a true road game in Texas A&M. And then they beat their defending champions. And then they beat Ole Miss, who had all the mojo in the world. And keep in mind, Ole Miss dominated that stadium at the Fiesta Bowl in Phoenix. That was mostly Ole Miss fans. I would say that's 75-25. But to the same token, they haven't dominated. Dominating will always triumph squeaking it out. It's more entertaining to watch Miami. But what Indiana has done, blowing Alabama out at the Rose Bowl and then blowing out Oregon, nothing short of remarkable. And I know they played one last game, but they still did play. At least, hey, Indiana played a conference championship game. Miami did not. And Indiana beat Ohio State as well. So if you want to count that into the run, Indiana's is more impressive based on the context of what they are doing, how they're doing it, and the timing in which they're doing it. Number 4.
Not the news Seattle wanted coming out of the bye. The Seahawks are fresh off a week of rest, but quarterback Sam Darnold popped up on the injury report after tweaking his oblique in practice and is officially listed as questionable for their home playoff matchup. With a tough San Francisco team on deck, how concerned are you about Seattle if Darnold can't go or if he isn't 100%?
I mean, realistically, how hurt does somebody have to be for you to shut them out there, right? Like,
especially off a bye.
Off a bye. How you have to be able to not walk. If we want to keep you out of this game, you're going to need to be severely injured, in my opinion, right? Seattle's got to think that this is it. Everything's churning in the right direction at the right time. We don't have coaches being plucked. First year, Darnold, the defense is firing, healthier than a lot of other teams. This is it. You're going to have home field through your building. I'm not going to say you're not going to have this again, but if there's a time and a place, this is the time and the place. I think Seattle needs to capitalize on this, and for that reason, if you think you could get away with it, Drew Lock, I would say you're mistaken. Darnold goes out there unless he cannot throw the football. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you think it's worse, hypothetically, if Darnold were to miss this game and Seattle loses, as if Darnold were to play in this game and Seattle loses?
I see. That's a good question. I think it would be worse knowing the what if. What if Darnold could play? And if it was like a questionable, Darnold could have went out there.
Now you're questioning his guts in a sense.
Not his guts, but, how bad was it? And, half these guys, they get some painkillers and then all of a sudden they can't feel anything and then they deal with it after the game. I don't know if it's like that, but I think knowing the what if Darnold could play and Locke went out there, I think that would bother the Seattle fans because if Darnold's hurt, you could always put in Locke. If Darnold's hurt, you could always put in Locke. I don't know if they will. You could always do that. What do you think?
I think that would not be ideal at all. Yeah. If you're playing a San Francisco team, coached the way they're coached, with the run the way on the run the way they are. I mean, we've said it in the first segment.
A one seed could totally lose this weekend, and if I'm to lean one direction, I'm leaning Seattle. I'm buying myself more and more to San Francisco,
and especially if you're Darnold. I mean, Darnold is arguably probably the quarterback with the most pressure in the playoffs. I mean, you got to go out there and play no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that Seattle, bar none, this is your Super Bowl opportunity. You want to do it, you got to capitalize now. Because these years, these seasons that you've had are not promised. Not year in and year out. So if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? Number 5.
Number 5.
The coaching carousel is officially spinning with several head coaching vacancies looming to be filled. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, Brian Flores, Stefanski, McDaniels, to name a few. So the question is, who's the next NFL head coach domino to fall, and which team pulls the trigger next?
So a couple directions I could go here. I do think the Falcons are going to figure it out fast. One thing about the Falcons, they have to figure out a general manager too. And I don't know if they're going to hire both at the exact same time. I think they will. But, word on the street is they like the guy, Josh Williams from the 49ers. And who else is with the 49ers? Robert Saleh. But I think you're going to wait till this weekend's games come to a close, and then you'll start to see dominoes fall. If Kevin Stefanski goes somewhere, that'd be a big question. Does Miami make a move pretty quickly? Is Miami going to get somebody with head coaching experience? It's been about 25 years since that has happened. That's another question.
Will it even be a head coach position?
Well,
you got OC.
Yeah,
OC positions out there that could be filled.
Maybe the Lions make a move. Maybe the teams like that. There's some truth to that. But I would, if I'd throw one out there, I would say the Falcons figure out both immediately, and they're going to figure it out at the same time. Is what I'm trying to say. And I think it will be San Francisco ties Robert Saleh and/or Kevin Stefanski. It will be an experienced former head coach.
How in New York would you say Harbaugh is at this very moment?
How set is he? I know they're just working out contracts.
It's not 100% official.
No.
And if it's not 100% official, there's definitely a reason for that. Do you think there's a chance that he pulls away from these negotiations?
A cold feet moment would be classic Giants. I don't know how you respond after that. If you're the Giants and that happens, I think they'll be okay. I think they're just trying to figure it out. They wouldn't lead us in the wrong direction media-wise, saying, they're finalizing, and then he gets cold feet. I wouldn't like that at all. I think he's the right move for the Giants to get A+ hire if they're able to figure it out. I know they're still working on stipulations, and it's weird. I don't know if he's making a demand and they're negotiating. Who knows? But I think it's just a wait and see. I still think he'll be a Giant coach. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and if we're looking at it from destination, I think the Giants are probably the most attractive destination.
Yeah. And if I'm the Dolphins made a quick general manager hire. Why do you do that? Why do you make a quick general manager hire for John Eric Sullivan from the Green Bay Packers? Why would you do that quickly? You do that quickly so you get your coach quickly.
Right, to turn around and get the head coach.
Because there's 8 other teams that are chopping at the bit with a couple good jobs available. Pittsburgh's a good job. Baltimore's a good job. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm trying to make a move quickly, lock somebody down quickly. I'm not trying to be the fourth guy left at the dance, trying to figure out.
See what's left over.
Right. I'm not trying to do that. That's what the Raiders had. That's what happened to the Raiders last year, and it led them to Pete Carroll. How'd that go? So I would say Dolphins, if you could figure it out quickly, I would say do it. And I know maybe they're waiting for the divisional round to end. Maybe the Rams lose. Maybe the Niners lose, and those guys can go take their new jobs. Who knows? But a lot of questions going into this weekend about the coaching carousel. I think a lot of teams are watching closely to coaches that are either involved with the teams or formerly involved with the teams to make their move. So I think you'll find out a lot Monday. That Monday post-divisional round. That would be my prediction. That was your 5 at 5, presented by Flagler Credit Union. We shared my national anthem rendition, and the Cacti Park folks commented on the YouTube stream and said, thanks for having us out, or thanks for coming out and giving it your best. I don't like that. That's sort of like a college rejection letter. What'd they say exactly, Damon? You have it there?
Thanks for swinging by to belt it out today.
It's a little college rejection letter-esque. I don't know if I love that.
Thanks for trying. Here's your participation trophy.
Right. Give me a game. I'll take a Tuesday game. I'll take a Tuesday 1 o'clock. I won't take a Saturday. I won't take a Saturday 4. I won't take a Friday night game. I won't take Mets or Yankees. I won't take Phillies. Give me Astros Nationals Tuesday 1 p.m. Give me that. I'll take that game. No problem. No problem. I just want an opportunity to do the national anthem. I want a do-over. Wasn't great. I could be better. We'll see what happens. Check out our Instagram. We'll post that in the coming days at ESPN West Palm. That's Damian Perez, Colin Russo. We'll close things out, do a little Blitz the Book, make our picks for the weekend. This is Russo and Rizzo. We'll blitz the book on the other side. ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Hi everyone, this is Tyler Hero. This is Bam Adebayo. This is Jaime Jaquez Jr. This is Nikola Jovic.
It's Kasper Sigurdsson.
It's Norman Powell, and you're listening to ESPN 106.3 and the ESPN South Florida app.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for Miami Heat basketball.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Funnel cake, rise, farm animals.
Wake up, South Florida Fair.
Don't tell me what's fair. What? The South Florida Fair is open. Why didn't you say so sooner? Countless attractions, vendors, mouth-watering food. There be something for everyone. See all the activities at southfloridafair.com or download the Fair app. Open now in West Palm Beach.
January 16th to February 1st.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Robert Gilman, partner and leader of Anshin's Real Estate Group.
Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, 100% bonus depreciation has been permanently reinstated. Real estate businesses are now able to immediately expense the full cost of qualifying property. Even projects with millions in improvements can benefit from first-year expensing without any spending cap. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we strategically guide real estate businesses through these legislative changes to help them develop a long-term investment strategy and boost cash flow. If you're a real estate professional looking to enhance profitability and minimize tax liabilities, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com.
Oh, na, na. What's the name? Oh, na, na. What's the name?
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, the 16th of January, 2026. No Rizzo today. He's on sabbatical. We got Damian Perez, hockey sub and Christian Cat behind the glass. It is Colin Russo. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. If you missed any of the show, go watch it back on all those great places or go listen it back on podcast, commercial free, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Just go to Russo and Rizzo. We're live every day, weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. You can catch us tomorrow streaming live on our social medias outside City Place with myself and Theo Dorsey for 5 to 7 p.m. Catch Sunday Huddle with myself and Kate Chumsden, 10 a.m. on Sunday. You got a lot of local programming, and also you have a extended programming day on Monday on MLK Day due to the national championship game. So that's going to be Christian Cat and Theo Dorsey from about noon to 2 o'clock, and then myself, Mike Rizzo from 2:30 to 6 leading up to the big game. We'll also be live on air after the game post. So stay tuned for all that. Should be a great time. Got a packed week of programming ahead, and we also have a packed week of games coming up in the next 4 or 5 days here. Let's figure out our best picks. Let's blitz the book with Hard Rock Bet.
Send some heat. Pin your ears back. It's time to blitz the book. Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
All right, what's the book? Hard Rock Bet, ESPN 106.3. Go download the app today, and you can get started. Put just $5 into the app. Just $5. You win that first $5 bet, you get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account. Place it anywhere. Player props, team parlays, bets, player by player, game by game, live in the future. You name it, they got it on the Hard Rock Bet app. Go check it out today. All right, Damian, we got 4 games this weekend in the NFL, and we got 1 huge game with Miami and Indiana. We're going to take all 4 against the spread. We're going to parlay it together, and we have to agree on all of the picks. That sound good?
Beautiful.
Let's start with the first game of the day, Buffalo and Denver. Buffalo's plus 1.5 on this one, and it's over under 45.5. We could also take an over under instead of the spread if we don't like it.
I think we both agree on this one. I got Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Denver, but I do think Buffalo will win this game too. I agree. So plus 1.5, Buffalo will be the first leg of that parlay. Thing about Buffalo in this game is it's a lack of trust in Denver, a luck running out moment. Thing about Buffalo is they're very depleted offensively, but they were depleted offensively last week, and they beat Jacksonville and Jackson.
And they're hungry.
They're hungry. They see it. They got the monkey off their back a little bit. Now they just got to win another tough road game. Josh Allen, they just won their first road game in 32 years in Jacksonville over the weekend.
Tough game, too.
Yep. So I like Buffalo plus 1.5 as underdogs, technically, at Denver. Second game of the night, San Francisco and Seattle. San Francisco's plus 7. We're on the same page.
I think Seattle wins this game, but I mean, plus 7.
This is a crazy line. This is a crazy line.
Very disrespectful to San Francisco.
I agree. I mean, the one thing that San Francisco, and I think the NFL did a terrible job of this. Think about it this way. San Francisco was at Philadelphia, the other side of the country, Sunday, 4 o'clock, playing a dogfight game, had a couple tough injuries, fly across the country. I tracked their plane with my dad on Sunday night. They landed Eastern time, 4:30 a.m.
That's a rough flight. That's a
1:30 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. They play on Saturday in Seattle. So that means they have to travel on Friday. So you have to go from Philly to San Fran, 3.5, 4 days of prep, and then you fly to Seattle. From that perspective alone, I think the NFL is kind of screwing the Niners just in terms of game schedule. And because you look at the alternative, they have Bears-Rams on Sunday, and both those teams played last Saturday.
Yeah.
So they get 8 days off.
And the weather's horrible.
That's not fair.
They could have picked a better day.
That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I think that's the wrong thing to do. But nonetheless, because of that, I think the Niners are going to play with a little mojo. The last time Seattle played, they played against San Francisco. I like San Francisco to compete in this game.
Yep.
I do.
I agree with that.
Plus 7. Not sure if they're going to win, but I'm going to take them to compete.
This is the hardest one.
This is the hardest one of the game.
Yep.
Houston's plus 3.5. I think this is going to be a 3-point game.
Yeah.
I don't like Houston to win. I think Houston's going to lose because I don't think I trust Stroud. But I do think this would be a low-scoring, tight affair that will be a special teams decided game.
I agree. I think the Patriots ultimately win this game, but I could see it being close. I could also see, I know it's very low. I could also see this game going under.
You want to do the under instead? We can do the under instead.
I like the plus 3.5 though. Don't get me wrong. I can really see this game being decided by a final field goal.
Let's do the plus 3.5. Houston. Last game here, Sunday Night Football. The Rams are favored by 4. 4 against Chicago in Chicago with the coldest game in Soldier history, 9th coldest game in Soldier Field history.
I think this is the one we disagree on. I think Chicago, as a matter of fact, I would take their money line. I think they win this one outright. But I know you.
I can be sold in the points.
You think the Rams
can be sold
in
the points, Damien? I can be sold in the points.
We can settle. The Rams can win this game, but by 3.
Plus 4. I have no problem with. No. Here's the thing. Like we just need Chicago to stay within. Yeah.
Can I interest you in the over?
In that weather?
That's what I was gonna say. That weather is horrific. I'm actually surprised it's 48.5. The highest over under, as a matter of fact.
Weird. I like Chicago plus 4. I agree. We're rooting for close games.
All underdogs.
Yeah, I don't love that. I don't love that.
I mean, the Bills are basically a pick'em, though.
Yeah. 4 for 4 underdogs. All right, we're doing it. I like the underdog weekend. All right, we got one more game we got to pick. So we got 4 underdogs. Let's not go 5 for 5. Are you taking Miami here?
I'm leaning Miami.
Why?
They got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, Indiana's the clear favorite. Everybody thinks Indiana's going to come in and absolutely blow out UM. They're plus 8.5. Indiana can win this game, but I don't think they're going to blow out UM.
You think they're due for a close game?
I think it's going to be a close game.
How close is close?
Just too much grit. I just think that the defensive line for Miami is just outstanding. Their offensive line as well, and they're really playing with a chip on their shoulder.
They're going to slow the game down.
Yep. I could see this being a game decided by a field goal as well.
Damian, no, I don't know about this. I don't think you can sell me on this
You
one.
think Indiana
I think
8.5?
Indiana's going to smoke this team. I think we've seen a lot before. These teams that are teetering on an undefeated season. LSU blew out Clemson. Clemson blew out Alabama. Alabama blew out, was it Ohio State they played in 2020? I'd have to double check. But Georgia blew out TCU. The teams that are trying to go undefeated, taking on a little bit of a Cinderella story, tend to blow them out.
And Indiana's 3 for 3 in covering the spread this playoff run. So to your point,
the one thing in a weird way, I kind of agree with is Indiana might be due to play a close game. They might be due. And maybe Miami does show up. I think we're going to have to split apart here and have to go to the over-under. I don't think I can't get you off the Miami wagon, and I don't think you're going to be able to get me off the Indiana.
I just think 8.5, that's a lot of points.
I know, but Indiana beat Oregon by 50 points.
Yeah. But then again, we're talking about
Mr. Root for a close game, too.
Oregon, I don't think Oregon's the right team to bring up. I mean, seeing what they did this playoff run, they didn't look good against Texas Tech. I think they got lucky against Texas Tech.
You're not wrong.
Let's be honest. Only one team showed up in that game.
You're not wrong, but they won 2 games, and they got blown out, and they got blitzed. That's a grown man team.
So if you were to go over-under, you'd go under?
I would go over.
Over. I love an over. Okay.
Yeah, you're
I think
okay
that's
with the over here?
funnest thing to bet is the over.
All right, so you want over. All right, then we can deal with that. I mean, let's think about it, Damian. 30-20, we win.
Yeah.
So we're rooting for Indiana to be able to
no,
score.
30. It's 47.5.
Yeah, so 30
to 20, correct. Yep.
Yeah. So we're looking for Indiana's able to score. Indiana's able to score, I think they cover. If Indiana's not able to score, if we go into halftime and it's 7-3, we're in a lot of trouble. But we're taking the over. That's our 5-bet parlay. Blitz the book. Bills plus 1.5, 49ers plus 7. Texans plus 3.5, Bears plus 4, and over 47.5 total points for Miami and Indiana.
Lock it in.
As that closes out the program here, that is Damian Prez. Appreciate him keeping us up over the airwaves today. If you missed any of the show, go listen back. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. We're rooting for some good games. We'll see what happens. Nonetheless, happy to have everybody aboard. We'll see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow with myself and Theo Dorsey, 5 to 7 p.m. on all of our socials. So catch us there, doing a little Miami talk during the Bills-Bronco game. Stay tuned for that. But this has been Colin Russo saying so long. Enjoy the weekend. It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined?